Hey, thanks for tuning in. I'm pretty welcome to my podcast. Let's talk about the 2025 Indian budget, or as I like to call it, another well orchestrated heist that keeps the rich rich, the oppressed struggling, and the powerful untouchable. Because let's look at it. The budget is not for you. It's not for the worker breaking their backs on construction sites, not for the farmer drowning in debt, not for Dalits and Dalit women trying to survive in a world that devalues them twice over. No, this budget is for the Brahmins, the Reddis, the Kamas, the dominant caste industrialists, the corporate giants, and the political elite. It's a budget designed to keep power where it has always been, in their hands. Who better to deliver this masterpiece than our beloved Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman? Standing at the podium, she declared, our economy is the fastest growing among all major global economies. Of course, she didn't mention that this fast growth means nothing when the wealth it generates stays at the top, when labor rights are eroded, when food inflation is through the roof, when debt traps keep Dalit and Bahujan farmers in perpetual bondage. She also proudly stated, this budget continues our government's efforts to accelerate growth, secure inclusive development, invigorate private sector investments, uplift household sentiments, and enhance the spending power of India's rising middle class. Oh, yes, quote unquote inclusive development, but only if you're part of the Savarna middle class or oppressor middle class, sitting comfortably in your gated community, sipping your filter coffee and discussing stock market trends. Because for everyone else, the sanitation workers, the gig workers, the domestic workers, the factory laborers, there is no enhanced spending power, just higher expenses and stagnant wages. This year, the government raised income tax exemption limit to 1.2 million rupees. Who does this really benefit? Not the woman working as a school janitor for 6,000 rupees a month, not the Adivasi landless farmer scraping by on seasonal work. No, this is a gift wrapped present for the salaried Savarna corporate class, the landlords, and the business elite. And when they give these tax breaks, they refuse to increase spending on food security programs. They refuse to fix the crumbling public healthcare system, refuse to support actual working class people. They don't just hoard wealth, they make sure you never get to touch it. Sitaraman has proudly announced a whopping 11.21 trillion in infrastructure spending. Code, I'm quoting, for nation building, they say. But ask yourself, who profits from this nation building? Not the construction worker working 14-hour shifts in deadly conditions, not the farmer whose land is stolen for highways. No, this money goes straight into the pockets of the Adanis, the Ambanis, the Tatas, the Reddy owned real estate firms, the same dominant caste business elites who thrive off government contracts. This isn't nation building, it's corporate expansion at the cost of the working class. And then we have agriculture. Every year, they claim to be helping farmers, and every year, they betray them. This year, the government has launched the Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana, a grand name for a scheme that will do nothing but serve oppressor caste landlords and agribusinesses. They've announced a 6-year program to boost pulses and cotton production, but who controls India's cotton industry? Not the Dalit farmer, not the small landholder barely making ends meet. It's the Patels, the Nadars, the Reddys, the Kammas, the caste landlords who dominate rural economies. These policies don't help farmers, they help agribusinesses consolidate more land, force more Dalits into debt, and ensure that labor remains cheap and disposable. And let's talk about where the biggest chunk of your tax money is going: debt servicing. Massive 25% of the budget is being set aside just to pay interest on government loans. But here's the real question: who are we paying? Banks, bondholders, financial elites, the Brahmin Banya banking networks that hoard wealth while denying loans to Dalit, harassing farmers with unpayable debts, and enabling oppressor castes to accumulate even more economic power. This isn't just economics, it's caste politics in action. They bleed the working class dry to enrich the elites who already own everything. And yet, despite all this, Sitaraman stands before Parliament and declares with a straight face, this budget is for growth, for development, for all Indians. Well, I have news for you: it's not. It's for the ruling caste, the landlords, the capitalists. It's for the Brahmins, the Reddys, the Kammas, the Banyas, the very people who have spent centuries ensuring that land, wealth, and power remain in their hands. It's a budget that keeps Dalits and Adivasis and Bahujans poor, keeps women dependent, keeps workers exploited, and keeps Muslims and Adivasis at the mercy of a state that wants them erased. And the worst part, they sell it to you as progress. Huh. See, this is a magic trick of capitalism and Brahmanism. They convince you to cheer for your own exploitation. They tell you that poverty is natural, inequality is inevitable, caste oppression is a thing of the past, and too many people believe them. What now? But it doesn't have to be this way. Budgets are political documents. They tell you exactly who your government works for and who it betrays. And this one, it's loud and clear. It says, we serve the rich, the oppressor caste, and the capitalists. The rest of you, fuck off. Get in line or get crushed. So the real question is, what are you going to do about it? And this is the episode. Stay sharp, stay angry, and remember, power concedes nothing without a demand.